Hi, Dudley Tal Stokes, LCP, and today we're going to give you a great tool for sustained peak performance. It's used by athletes, soldiers, CEOs, different leaders the world over to help them to get their job done and achieve their goals. And we're going to bring it to you in a simple and inexpensive way that's effective and sustainable. So that's visualization, the use of your mind, and today we're talking about specifically to control your mood. So your mood is your state of mind. You're optimistic, feeling hopeful, pessimistic, expecting trouble, or just don't care, not in it at all. Before you can set the tension, you have to be in the mood. So, we have the tension, you can be relaxed, you can be tense, depending on the situation in front of you. Depends on where you want to be on that scale. And there's a sweet spot for peak performance where you are sufficiently tense so that you're recruiting all of your being to help you in what you're doing, but you're not so tense as you're locking up and can't execute properly. Now, mood is a basis for setting tension, and so it's key to peak performance. So a negative mood, there are some of us who just naturally have this as a default position, and we have no trouble remembering bad things like our past failures, missed opportunities, embarrassing moments. Those things flood back to mind far, far more easily and far more vividly in far greater detail than we can remember successful things. So most of us fear the future, and there are reasons for that. One of them is that as the future comes, we get older, feebler, and we start to have to contemplate that we will eventually die. And then things that we had hoped to accomplish now seem harder and harder because we think we are time constrained. So we feel the unknowable by managing the worst of all situations. And this is what plays on our mind, and that tends to set our mood. And what we're doing here, we're going to be learning is how we can deliberately set our mood instead of allowing it to happen to us just because of the circumstances of the moment or we might find ourselves in. People have been characterized as optimists and pessimists depending on their outlook. But whether you're an optimist or a pessimist in your general state, it doesn't matter. You can deliberately set your mood, your expectations, your state of mind for the moment that you're in, for the purpose of some activity that's going to be beneficial to you. It's about creating the atmosphere for you to act in now and maintaining morale, which is the will to keep acting despite the external circumstances. And in a later video, we'll deal with that in much greater detail. Deliberately and systematically creating a mental state for peak performance. And if you do this, and you can do this deliberately and systematically, and you do it often, you have a much better chance of success in life, however it is that you have defined that. So the tool is visualization, and key to visualization is mastering the tool of mental relaxation, which we've been through before. So don't try this until you're comfortable physically and mentally relaxing at will. Once you're able to do that, you can use your mind's eye for virtual reality. Use your mind's eye to create a scenario, and then we'll use that scenario to influence our mood. Your mind is a far more potent virtual reality machine than anything built by anybody to date. The problem for most of us is that it is underutilized, and we don't spend any time deliberately training it up so that we can use it. So this is what you do. You start out. Recall a moment that made you feel really good inside. You're going to need pencil and paper for this, by the way. So sit down in a quiet place, pencil, paper, think about your moment that made you feel really good. Write down as many details as you can about the feeling and about the scene. How it looked while you were doing this. I do this sometimes with a presentation that I've made live that's particularly well received. And I build up the theater, the stage, the audience, the chairs, different people, different characters that I can remember. You build them up, and so find something like that. It doesn't have to be long. It's not going on for hours. It's not a whole football game or a song. It's one move, one moment that really made you feel good. And you also need to detail your feelings. What was this good feeling that you had? Your joy, heart racing, your sunlight feeling. Record what your feelings were. Then study what you've written down and sit back, close your eyes and just daydream. Recall the feelings, recall the situation. Just get it into your mind and work it over a few times. And then keep studying, daydream and recall. And do this for at least 5 times over a period of an hour and a half until you're comfortable with the memory. And now we're going to put it together. Remember our mental relaxation, so we get mentally relaxed. Once we've been through that and we're in a relaxed state, then you see the experience in your mind's eye. Recreate it in your mind in as much detail as you can muster and remember, and focus on those feelings. Have it flooding through you and be there in that moment again. When you get back, you should feel much better about yourself and ready for the challenges ahead. So, really simple. Visualization to set mood. Okay? We're not dependent on whether the sun is shining, if it's cloudy, what somebody said to us, how your wife or significant other was this morning. None of those things we are dependent on to set our mood. We're getting out to work, we have a job to do, we have something to pursue. We need to be in the frame of mind for our peak performance state. And we get this through visualization. Mental relaxation, and we visualize that moment. We fill ourselves with those feelings and we come out ready to get into the right tension to pursue our objectives. Thank you very much. Spread the word about our Patreon account, and please leave your comments, leave your feedback. Look forward to them, and we'll see you soon.